We are Jet Sports Training, where our mission is to cultivate champions. This is where athletes come to get faster and everyday people come to change their lives. This is not a gym, but a community. Come get jetted.
Take off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lot of y'all doubted on me. Now they like, wow, look how far you come. Legendary like all my idols, coming for it all, and I can't wait. Success just called and I got me a date. So I grab my ambitions and I'm on my way. Cross the wrong line and it's bad news. Might get burnt like a candle. We too hot to handle. World at my feet like a sandal. I only move when I plan to. Your moves could get canceled.
It's the bad King Walker.
Let's go, 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 let's go.
Guys, this show is sponsored by one of my best friends, Erica Sanchez, who's with Brows with Erica. She is one of the best persons in business when it comes to getting your eyebrows done. Make sure you go check her out at 6050 North Oracle Road, Suite H.
Guys, we're back with another episode of the Jet Sports Network. We have an absolute killer here coming off his victory in Phoenix, which was an absolute war. We're going to do some play-by-play analysis. But I want to talk to him to see what's up. How you feeling today, brother?
Doing good, Raul. Good to be back, man.
Hey, you're the second time, brother. How you liking the new spot?
Honestly, this is a great setup, man. You know, LTD was pretty awesome, but I mean, I think this has a lot of potential to be a big name show around here in Southern Arizona and beyond. You know.
Yeah, because we're getting studs like you, brother.
Hey, you just call me, man. Whenever you want, I'll come and do any podcast for you.
And one thing I'm noticing, you just went through a war, bro, but you ain't got no scratches. What's up with that?
You know, I say it all the time. I got like a granite chin, man, or something. I think it's just the facial construction. I don't know, man. I'm blessed, Raul. Every fight I've had, from amateurs to pro, I've walked away unscathed.
You better knock on wood, bro, for your next one.
Knock on wood right here, man. Yeah. But yeah, no scratches. Everybody was honestly pretty shocked too. You know, even just walking to the back after the fight, you know, no blood, a little bit on my nose like you saw in the fight, but got a little bit of an ankle. You know, I think I kicked the dude's elbow at one point, which is never. I never recommend that.
You almost pulled a Cody Covington with Leon Edwards when he broke his freaking leg or whatever.
Oh yeah, bro, or like Conor McGregor type shit.
No, we don't even need to put that in the universe, brother.
Yeah.
So we talk about walking in the back. It's a little bit different after coming off a victory, and I really want to go back to your last fight because you didn't have the same result, but you were able to come up and dominate in a war. I want to know, what was the first couple days like after that loss? What were you going through your head? And just kind of reflect on that fight and how it improved you to win this next one.
I mean, any competitor, especially if you're an actual competitor, a loss is always hard, right? You can take it one of two ways. You can let it break you, or you can learn from it, improve from it. I remember, my last fight, I got put to sleep in a guillotine choke. Guy lands a sweet knee right up the middle. Had a broken nose at the time. Full disclosure.
You already had a broken nose before that?
Already had a broken nose.
That's why you were still going in there, brother.
Yeah, man. So it lands the knee. I end up going to sleep. I remember waking up and finally realizing where I was. And immediately, you know, the first reaction is anger. You know, I'm mad at myself. I remember walking to the back. I don't say a word to my coaches. Don't say a word to my girlfriend, anybody. And I just kind of walk out of the venue and just kind of, you know, compose myself. At that point, I call my family, call my mom, and because they were watching, you know, I'm in Florida, they're states away. Give them a call, and I'm like, hey, don't worry, like, I'm fine, you know. And, after something like that, you just kind of have to get back in the gym, man. Thankfully, that one as well. I didn't have any major injuries besides that broken nose. So, I was back in the gym, lifting, working my head movement, working this, working that. And I think that's the biggest thing as, a combat sport athlete is you take a loss, you have to figure out what you did wrong and then immediately start to improve those mistakes.
So what were the improvements you had going into this next one?
Biggest thing was not pushing the action too much, right?
You're El Chapo, bro. I bet that's a little hard for you. I remember you in high school, man. You were a scary dude.
It's difficult, man. My coach yells at me all the time for it. He's like, be patient, especially going from amateurs to pros. You're looking at a 3-minute round, and then now you have a whole 5 minutes each time.
Those are long, man.
Long, and extra 30 seconds makes all the world difference. So now you got a whole extra 2 minutes per round, right? And so that was the biggest thing is, working my head movement, working the patience when it came to the striking department. And even still in this last fight, I didn't show as much of it as I'd like to. I was still kind of pushing the action a little bit.
Yeah, it was a war.
You're right.
That's where the money's made, though, bro.
You got to be entertaining is what I say. But at the same time, you can't make mistakes like my last fight, you know what I mean, where I'm getting hit with the knee or something crazy like that. So,
yeah, that's awesome. So one thing I also want to know is, you know who Dan Gable is, right?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
When he had his first loss, he almost was going on, what the heck? Am I good enough? What's going on? And with the podcast, I want to dive into those questions because as athletes, we're looked at like, oh, we got everything together.
Right.
What I want to ask you, were you dealing with any doubts after the first one? 'Cause that was your first professional loss.
Right.
What was actually going through your head, like if in the negative, and how did you get out of the negative afterwards?
Of course, yeah, you can have those thoughts. And it's like, man, this was possibly my first real test. The kid I fought, Italian guy, Fidel.
He was a long dude, man.
Long guy.
I was watching that fight at Highware with Jacob, bro.
I believe it, man. Yeah. And, he had fought in the European circuit. These guys are fighting MMA at like 13, 14 years old, right? And at that point, especially, I kind of had a late start to the MMA scene. I wrestled through high school, college a little bit. Some of these guys are starting like him at 14 years old, right? And I feel like, man, I didn't get my first actual fight until about 23, 24 years old. Yeah. So those thoughts of like, is this really for me kind of set in, right? You see these high-level guys coming from Europe, even from the States, and it's like, am I on their level, right? So those thoughts you kind of have to push out of your mind. That's the biggest thing. I tell my kids that all the time. Self-belief is the biggest tool you can have in that cage, and I think this last fight kind of proved that.
Yeah. Because we'll get into it, but there were some moments where it was like, oh shit moments.
Oh yeah, of course. And I'm the one in there. I know exactly what you're talking about, man. But that's the biggest thing is, when you have those self-doubt or those thoughts of self-doubt, you have to just remind yourself, I work hard. I'm in the gym every day. I'm improving. And if you're not doing that, then you better start, right? Because then it's harder to push those thoughts away.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep going back to this fight, man. It looked like you were fearless going in there.
Oh yeah, and it was actually DeBerry who told us one time. It's like respect everyone, fear no one.
Yeah.
Going into this fight, Jack Eglin, props to him if he ever ends up watching this. He's a tough guy, man. Fun fact: we actually met once before. The fight that I had against Gramicia that I had lost, he was in the back with the guy from the MMA lab, Jared Buren, I forget his name.
Okay.
But so he was cornering, and we're the only two Phoenix guys there. We're in the same corner, blue corner. And so we're chopping it up in the back, man. He's actually a pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
And
is it hard fighting guys when they're cool and stuff like that? Like when you kind of have almost like a friendship?
It is, and at the same time it isn't, because there's kind of that, especially if you guys are both warriors like we were. It's like there's kind of that like, let's do this, bro. You know, we could be friends even at the weigh-ins, man. We're chopping it up, all respect. But both of us kind of knew there was that underlying like, as soon as this bell rings,
it's a war.
It's a war. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even after the fight, man, I'm back in the locker room. I go to, use the restroom, kind of wash up my face, and then he's in there too. And it's kind of a surreal moment, man. It's the both of us at the stalls, or not the stalls, at the sinks. And I'm just like, man, good fight, bro. And he's
it was like that
good
Rocky
job.
3 moment when there's like his opponent and him, or not Rocky 3, Creed 3.
Creed, yeah.
When they're both right there and dabbing each other up afterwards.
Exactly, man. So, it kind of makes for a good fight, right? There was no bad blood. But like I said, 2 warriors going in there, putting on a show for everyone.
Yeah. So now let's start getting into the training camp and the fight. Let's talk a little bit about your training camp. Did it go as smooth as you thought? Did you go in healthy? Those kind of questions.
Oh, man. Honestly, it was one of the best camps I've had. Lots of focus from my coaches. cross training at multiple places. This camp, I was able to go up with Tim Welch and those guys. At Red Hot.
O'Malley. Yeah, dude.
O'Malley,
Not gonna
yeah.
lie, when I saw that you were with O'Malley, I'm like, oh shit, Sean's fighting O'Malley or Sean's fighting Rob again.
Just like we talked about last time, right? So, but it was nice, man. The only thing that kind of messed me up is, up there I was sparring in a big cage. I think it was like the UFC pay-per-view size, right? So the one you'll see in the big arenas all over, the States, and when they travel, to Europe and whatnot. Yeah. But it did kind of throw me off because I will say the RUF cage was much smaller than that. Our whole game plan was based on keeping the distance. And in that small cage, man, it's like I took 2 steps back and
you're already at the cage and you're like, oh shit, yep.
But no, I mean the camp went smooth. Weight cut was, I was about 3 pounds off 3 days out.
Yeah, cause I remember seeing you a week before and you look lean as hell. I'm like, you already look like you're at weight.
Yeah, exactly, man. So the weight cut was perfect, and I felt fully prepared going into this fight. And honestly, again, I knew this, Jack was a tough guy, and I think mental preparation was the biggest thing in this camp.
Yeah, just making sure your mind was straight.
And knowing that, I might have to go to war with this guy. And it's like to the point where he's posting shit on social media, I'm posting stuff, we follow each other because we were friends, and we're just like kind of amping each other up back and forth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Never message each other or nothing, but it's like, the back and forth.
Would you ever kind of just look at it like, oh shit, if he's doing that, I need to be doing this or something like that, kind of come up with a game plan?
Of course, man. Training footage, just like, overall, you see all the accounts like Invictus and all that, the mental stuff. It's just a back and forth, like mental warfare going on.
Oh, nice.
So
respectful though, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. But great camp, man. I felt fully prepared for this one. Yeah.
Well, without further ado, bro, let's start getting a fight. I want to know what your kind of mindset was going this. Like, kind of with fighters, you never understand what they're actually going through unless you have an opportunity like this, just go play by play.
Right.
So we're going to run into that right now, brother.
All right, let's do it, man.
Let me ask you this. Did you get fight of the night?
They didn't officially announce any, like, performance of the night, fight of the night, but countless comments and, just people on Facebook, Instagram, so on and so forth. Everyone was saying, fight of the night. Even the promoters afterwards were like, hey, fight of the night. So I'm still waiting for that. Joel, Jason, I'm waiting for that bonus whenever you guys want to send it to me.
They need to give it to you right away already, bro, because just watching it before you got here, I was like, Jesus Christ. This is what I want to talk about, too, because this is my question for fighter. What is going through your head right here? You're 5 seconds away from going through war. What are you telling yourself?
Honestly, at this point, you're kind of just, for me personally, I'm just numb to it, Yeah. There's really no thoughts going on, any doubts, any, bad, negative things. They have to disappear at this point, right? Because if you walk towards the other guy with those negative thoughts in your head, you're going to get put out.
And you're thinking about it, not looking at him.
Exactly. So, fight starts. Like I said, our whole game was going to be keeping the distance with those kicks. But, I did find myself against the fence here. I was expecting to have a little bit more distance.
So was this cage smaller than the other ones you've been at, too?
Oh, this is the smallest pro cage I've ever
fought. I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's small.
And, I'll tell you what, we got to the venue. And I will say one thing. His last fight, we were expecting his wrestling to be a little bit weaker than it was.
Yeah.
You saw me. I just shot that double right now.
So, wait, this is what I want to go on. I'm going to pause it right here.
Go for it.
What's, like, you just got rocked. And was that one of your first time actually getting rocked that hard? Because after the fights I've seen, you haven't been hit that hard before.
With the punch, no. Like I said, that knee that I took last time, bro. Yeah, that definitely rocked me pretty hard.
So is it kind of just like a thing where you're telling yourself, like, just get back up as quick as you can?
And it's almost second nature. You don't even tell yourself that. I think that's kind of where that warrior mindset kicks in. Yeah. Some guys can find an easy way out. They find themselves on their butt and they don't stand up. But a fighter is going to stand up every time.
Yeah, because you stood up ready to freaking go to war. Is this at this moment where you just realizing, like, oh, crap, this is going to be a war now?
That's exactly what happens, man. It's like, all right, well, here we go. And like I was saying, man, I shot a double leg on him just a little bit ago. There's a single leg now. And I will say, his last fight, he was taken down about 6 or 7 times throughout the course of the fight. You could tell for the past year, this guy has been working his wrestling.
So he's had a year off before this one?
Exactly, yep.
Yeah. Was anything surprising, just even taking you down right there, was that surprising you at all, the strength? Or?
Of course, man. That's what I mean. And kind of goes back to what I was saying before. You take a loss, what's the first thing you do is you improve the things you did wrong in that fight. He definitely did that, man. We thought the wrestling department was going to be my go-to. And off of those first failed takedowns, him taking me down, my mind is like, shit, he's been working his wrestling.
Yeah.
Right? So, like I told you a little bit ago before we started, the stream, I'm pretty comfortable off of my back, man. It may not look like it. It may look like he's in, a dominant position, but I find myself here in training. I put myself here multiple times purposely so I can get comfortable in these positions, right?
Yeah.
In case I end up taken down, in case I end up, hit with a good punch or a good kick.
You're ready to go at any situation.
Yeah, you can see here I'm starting to lock up like a lockdown position, just trying to mediate the damage more than anything. I will say at some points of this fight, he didn't seem to be looking for damage on top. He was more just kind of, getting the control time in.
Going position over submission kind of stuff.
Right. And so there's another good transition by him, man. A lot of times they say not to give up your back, but I'm pretty comfortable with it.
Yeah,
man.
you're ready for that.
I got like a short neck, so.
You just put that head down right there.
That's it, bro. That's it.
Shit. That's why you're the mini Marah, bro.
No, exactly.
Yeah. So right here, you're just trying to fight to get back up. What's the strategy going on here? What are you telling yourself the next moves are?
So here I'm just kind of swiveling the hips, trying to defend the neck.
Nice.
You see I can reverse the position. And again, here's where he felt real strong. You tell, he has great coaches in his corner, Benson Henderson.
Oh, you had Hendo freaking corner against you?
Yeah, he was, man. Joe Riggs is another good coach. He coaches actually at Red Hawk as well. And I mean, at this point, I can see my nose is bleeding.
Yeah. What's that feeling like? Seeing like your own blood for the first time of the fight or something like that?
Ah, man, it can kind of psych you out, but at the same time, who cares, right?
Yeah.
You gotta just keep scrapping
Just
out.
keep scrapping. Dude, one thing I'll tell you this, and this is what I've known since I was little when I was watching the Tucson High Wrestling Room, nothing stopped you.
Oh, of course.
Nothing at all. Like I can kind of see it in your face because at this point you're losing the round, but you're still going for the kill.
Right, here comes a pretty solid knockdown, man. He knocks my mouthpiece out at this point. Boom.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's another and I will say, man, that quick recovery off of punches like that, a lot of it is in your preparation, in your road work, your cardio. So, I mean, I don't know if you've heard, commentators in the past say this, but if you have good cardio, you actually can take shots like that a lot easier, right? I pride myself in my cardio, and, I had a feeling after all these grappling exchanges, it was my game plan to make him grapple more. He kind of seemed to be the one to push that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, hey, same effect, right? So he's grappling. I knew eventually he was going to gas out. I pride myself. Cardio kills, man. I knew eventually I was going to get him. Here I reversed this position.
Can you kind of feel him freaking dying out at this point?
Oh, of course, yeah. And that's why I kind of turn it up. Mind you, Raul, I have no mouthpiece in right now.
That's awesome, man.
No mouthpiece.
Yeah.
And so here I'm kind of catching a rest, wearing him down a little bit. I do try to hit this spinning elbow here that barely misses. Me and my coach have practiced this from time to time. But it just like glances to the back of the head.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a close one. And, tough round, man. Like, he weathered the storm. He definitely came out guns blazing. I hear the clacks as soon as I lock up this single, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Boom, boom, boom.
Brawl.
Yeah. No, at that point, it's like, it's a fight, man. And look, I smile at him as soon as the round ends, and like I said, it's all respect. We're just like...
That's awesome, man. Dude, like, because I said we were watching it a little bit, but we were still setting up.
Right.
Dog, that's a freaking war,
it's a
man.
Scrap. It's a scrap, man.
And then you just you don't give up, man. I wonder, what was your corner telling you after this round?
Biggest thing was just to be patient. I did say it in the after fight interview. The left hook was landing. I just landed one a second ago. And here my coach was calling for the left, but I was in southpaw. That's kind of why he clipped me with that.
Yeah.
But,
were you kind of surprised about his power at all or anything? Or?
No, man. And that's the thing. I'd seen videos of him strike, and I knew he could strike pretty well. A lot of that. I mean, this guy, so he grew up in England, fought for Cage Warriors out there, and this was actually his first full year living in the States since his last fight. So majority of his fights have been in England, and those English guys are known for being pretty good boxers, man. And I was expecting to have a stand-up war a little bit.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's probably the biggest thing about being pro. You get away from the regional fighters. Now you're fighting guys from all over the country.
got some high-level guys, man. Yeah. I mean, my last opponent was Italian. I think he had been in the States for about 2 months. This guy's been in the States for about a year. I mean, if you ask me, man, those are the kind of opponents you want to be fighting.
You want to fight the best. That's why I love watching that movie Legacy with Denzel Gracie.
Oh, yep.
Because he talks about, he's like, I want to go where the best are at.
Exactly.
All right. Tell us what's going on here, bro, because it looks like he's coming after you hard again.
Yeah, and I come out, we spar a lot at my gym, man, and it usually takes me a couple rounds to kind of settle in. I mean, my striking here is a little more composed. That was the kick that landed the elbow, if you missed that. But, again, man, I'm just having difficulty finding my range with this guy. He had real good range management. More than anything, it's just, hey, I got to win this round.
Yeah. Just 3 rounds in, you got to win you got to win both now.
Right. Miss a pretty close uppercut. He tries to throw a knee up the middle, end up in on this single. And again, man, his wrestling, kudos to the guys over there at the lab. They prepared him pretty well, to fight me.
Yeah. Has he been at the lab this whole time or just since he's been in the States?
So he would finish his camps, I believe, at the lab. So he'd, stay out in England or wherever he's from. And towards the end of camp, I would say he'd probably come down and finish up the camps.
So this was his first full one there?
Yeah, living out here, so on and so forth. So he gets me back down to the ground.
You almost have that right there?
It's pretty close, man, and you can hear the commentators and, on the stream, they're like, oh, it's not tight.
We can hear that.
Yeah, and you can hear him saying it's not tight, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, it may be tighter than I think
right
it
here?
is. Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, shoot.
And so I'm just kind of sinking it in. And
Yeah. Are you pulling as hard as you can, or are you still kind of leaving something in the tank just in case?
Leaving something in the tank. More than anything, I'm just trying to wear him out here, man. Like I said, I had a feeling my cardio in the grappling department was going to hold up against him. So, I mean, I figured I have his neck. It may not be tight enough to submit. I don't know if you can see, but he has his left arm over my right shoulder.
Yeah.
Right there, you can see that. And I could hear his coaches at this point, actually. We're right there in his corner. And his coaches are yelling at him, keep that arm there, keep that arm. Because if he lost that arm, the choke would have been locked in fully, So you could tell by the way he's raising his hips, he's in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, he's trying to force something out of there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so again, man, like partially is me a little bit resting, partially is me, wearing him out.
Yeah, just trying to make him work.
It was a grueling first round, man. I figued I had to kind of chip away at this guy. You know what I mean?
Let me not to stray away from this, but have you ever had a first round like that before?
Oh man, not to that extreme where I got dropped a couple times like that. I fought this Cuban dude for my second pro fight, and he definitely gave me a tough first round. Man, ended up coming back and winning by second round TKO. But
oh shoot,
like I said, man, I'm built to last, bro.
Your composure's fine here too, man. You looking like
thank you.
I mean, you looking like you're winning the fight in a way too.
Like I said, I was just wearing him out. You got to go in there ready every single time to fight a full 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then of course, everyone's goals, at least your goal should be to win a title. So you got to be ready to fight 25 at some point.
So right here, did you sweep him at this point? Because you got the submission at the second round, right?
Correct, yeah.
So what are you looking for right here? Are you looking to sweep him, or are you just looking to get up?
Here, looking to get up, create space, feet on the hips. At this point, he starts to land some ground and pound. Here, I try to go like a modified go-go plata, which is one of my go-tos. It's more just to kind of get him to start scrambling.
Yeah.
And again, like I said earlier, man, I don't mind giving up my back. I always joke around and say I'm the 5th Ninja Turtle, man.
Oh, heck yeah.
Got no neck.
Shoot, that's your nickname now too? El Chapo, Ninja Turtle.
Right.
And you almost freaking get choked right here too.
Yeah, so it's more of a crank position here. I start to clear the hands. Here, I mean, he almost has it, but again, tucking that chin. And at this point, I can feel he's gassed. He's kind of hanging off the side, reverse the position.
This is when the whole momentum changes and everything right here, isn't it?
And I will say one thing about, the Celebrity Theater, RUF, man, is that crowd was lit.
Really?
Oh, yeah, man.
I feel like the roof was going off that building?
For sure, man. And, as a fighter, sometimes that fuels you. You can hear that crowd cheering. Here he tries to roll out of the choke. And, my coach calls me a human backpack sometimes. They call me a chat pack.
Yeah, he ain't getting up now.
Nah, so, I mean, here I'm just kind of controlling. I'm not sure how much time is left in the round. I just figure, hey, I got to wear this guy out. Maybe I lost this round. Maybe I can, do something from here. So I start opening him up with some of these little shots. And then, I figure I might as well go for it.
Boom.
Hit it once. He does good defending it, but I will say, man, as he's defending each time, I'm sinking it deeper.
Yeah, get a little bit tighter and tighter.
Here's the last one. Boom. Chokes locked in. And go for the kill, man.
Dog. Bro, that's...
Oh, yeah.
Watching the whole thing now, it's showing what you had to come back from. That's insane, man. There's not many people that will even do that. Not just in the cage, in life, brother. Because
of course, yeah.
You were like, not to talk negatively at all, because you got the dub.
No, of course.
But you were still losing that round, brother.
100%.
And then you didn't give up at all, man.
No, man. And I will say, so the round ends. I don't know if you can see on the timer before, but I think there was about 8 seconds left. 8 seconds left in the round. And I talked with my coach afterwards. I mean, if we didn't get that submission at that time, I would have had to go out there in the third round and finish him, man. Either knock him out, submit him, TKO. And I was fully prepared to do that, man. You saw like right after the choke. I mean, I pop up. Yeah. Like I said, cardio kills, man. I could go for 10
What's the
more
adrenaline
rounds.
like right there? Like the relief,
man.
like after like now you came back, now you just redeemed yourself from the first loss.
Right.
In a freaking war.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a great feeling, man. It's great. And, you see me here, all glory to God, man. I can't describe that feeling. At first, like you said, it's adrenaline. It's like, screaming, yelling. And then that's kind of when the emotion hits. Here I'm saying my prayers. And, my girlfriend is the first one into the cage, which was a pretty surreal feeling, man. You can see me kind of brighten up when I see her. I'm just like,
You did it.
Yeah, man. And like I said, we're expecting. I'll have a little Chapito, man, September.
Nice.
So
I already got the nickname going too, bro.
that's right, bro.
That's awesome, man.
I mean, the emotions hit, man, and it's a great feeling. That's why it's one of the. It's like a drug, man. One of
You
the
got the
best
OG
things.
coach right there too, brother.
Yeah, shout out Bernie Arena. Shout out Austin Wheeler. Thanks for being on my corner, guys. Shout out my girlfriend Adriana Underwood. She's actually a really good corner man too, man. She's on.
She was in the corner?
Oh, of course.
Did she fight too, or?
Nah. Leave that to me, man.
Yeah.
I'm the one that gets punched for a living.
It don't look like it sometimes.
Yeah, right.
And honestly, I love doing the play-by-play just because of that. Because we get to see what you were thinking during that time.
Right.
And a war like that, like you were the Frankie Edgar and Gray Maynard right there, brother.
100%. He was a big dude, man. Yeah. We've had talks about dropping back down. As an amateur, I fought at 125. Yeah. Talks about getting with the nutritionist, going back down, because these guys are kind of big. My next fight, actually, is it okay for me to shout it out?
Shout out. Hey, so that's what I was going to ask you. What's next, brother? When can we see you again, man? Because we're all excited after watching that.
Thank you, man. For all my people out there, July 5th, Wild Horse Pass Casino in Phoenix, Arizona. If you guys can make it out there, APFC is the promotion. I already have an opponent and everything. So
can you announce the opponent yet, or?
Aiden Ingram. It's not confirmed yet, but I've had issues in the past. The guy's not taking the fight. So as long as this guy decides to sign the contract,
sign the dang contract, brother.
You know what I mean? So as long as he does it, man, he's the next victim. So
awesome. But
yeah, man, next fight we were talking about maybe 125. I think we're gonna try 135 a couple more times. Yeah.
Dog, they're gonna, if they want to beat you, bro, they're gonna have to kill you.
That's what I mean, man. Yep. Go in there.
Straight gangster, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Hey, I'll tell you this, bro. Jet Sports Network, we're sponsoring you for sure, brother.
That's awesome.
Put that down right here. Any fight you got after that, man, you know how it goes.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Thank you so much.
And, bro, thank you for coming to do the play-by-play, talking a little bit about your camp.
Right.
And as soon as you get done winning your next fight, we're going to have you on again, brother.
That'd be perfect. Cool. And then shout out to all my sponsors out there, Living Immunity, Manny over at Barber Parlor. Let's see, I got Anthony Miranda, Sam and Lonnie, all my people who support me. I couldn't do it without you guys. It takes a village, man. That includes all you guys here. Community, brother. Oh, 100%. Yeah. And it's put on for Tucson, all right?
Yeah. Hey, Dana White, sign this dude already, man. That's war.
Let's do it.
As always, guys, thank you for watching another episode. We'll be back next week again. Not going to tell you the guest because it's going to be a nice one. I want to make it a little bit of a surprise. But thank you, guys. Thank you for the love and support. Shout out Bobby and Jose for making this possible. Thank you, guys. Awesome. Brother, that got me hyped, man.